goes it, everyone? Hope you're having an amazing day. Welcome to How's It Cousins, the podcast where we take a look at the unique people of the world and the interesting things they do. We talk about them with each other. We relate to them. Hopefully we help you, the listener, relate as well so you can have some fun with us. Today, we have a guest in studio. Everyone welcome Kush Nasty to the show.
Hey.
What up?
And we brought him in because we're going to be talking about something that we are hyped for the first time in maybe ever. I don't know if it's ever.
I don't know.
Maybe in a while at least. Eminem going to be live in Hawaii.
Mr. Marshall Mathers.
Mr. Marshall himself on February 15th, 2019. We're hyped. So we want to talk about Eminem and all the crazy things that he means to us.
How's it, Chris? Are you talking about Eminem? Yo, I'm down to talk about Eminem. Let's do this.
Aloha, Alvin. Thanks for jumping into the live stream and the Eminem podcast.
Yeah, man, I'm always down to talk to you. It's always fun. Let's do it.
All right, before we get into it, I want to remind everyone you are watching the How's It Network. We are broadcasting live on twitch.tv/How's It Network. If you like what you are seeing, check us out at howsitnetwork.com. Any kind of new stuff goes up there. All of our episodes get posted to the popular podcast services, including iTunes, Google, Spotify, Stitcher. Wherever you want to listen to us, you can find us. Follow us on social media at How's It Network, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Check us out to get all the latest happenings. Alvin, you got anything you want to plug in?
Yes, my name is Aloha Alvin, and you can find more of me at alohaalvin.com.
So like I mentioned at the start of the show, in studio, we brought back Kush Nasty for the return show. For all the people out there that may or may not have tuned into the previous episode, who is your daddy and what do you do?
Hello, everyone. So Kush Nasty. I also facilitate a brand known as Team Me. You can check shirts right here. So yeah, just kind of a musician, artist, writer, you name it. I'll try and do it.
And he mentions that, by the way, for those of you watching live or tuning into the video on demand, if you are interested in what we are wearing, please do hit us up on social media and we'll try to hook you up somehow.
We got you guys covered.
Anyway.
No, okay, real quick. On that note, semi-recently, we did the Extra Life. We did the Extra Life. Good stuff. Were those the Kush shirts?
Those were.
They were.
Oh, nice. Okay, good stuff. Nice. Okay.
Anyway, if you want to see more of that, go to howsitnetwork.com. All the details are there. But anyway, so Marshall Mathers himself. You know, the other week we had talked about Vince Lombardi talking about the GOAT, in terms of football coaches or just coaches of any type. Many would say when it comes to hip hop, rap music, or even in some ways music in general, Eminem, Marshall Mathers, in consideration for the GOAT. Any comments, folks?
Well, I mean, he definitely has quite the repertoire under him. I mean, you think about when he came onto the scene, a white rapper, as everyone would like to refer to him as, and kind of really just took the entire hip hop culture and flipped it upside down. Started doing things that nobody A, expected from him, and B, nobody else was really doing at the time, as far as writing technique and I would even say overall skill from any MC that was in the game at that time.
So to throw it down from Vince Lombardi times. So last time we talked about it and the commentary was Vince Lombardi, he don't give a rip if you're not white, he don't give a rip if you're gay. If you can play the game good, you're in. So the reason why I mentioned that is Dr. Dre, he actually got some flack. Like, Dre, what are you doing? Why are you hiring a white guy? Right? But Dr. Dre was like, no. This dude's amazing. He's in. And of course, Eminem, absolutely amazing.
See, the interesting part about it is that yes, he was a white rapper, but it's not like he was the first white rapper, right? Like,
true. Also true.
There were white rappers that preceded him. Now, granted, there was a time period where there were really none in mainstream, right? There was a portion of time in the 90s, right, where you didn't quite see that like on MTV normally, right?
Right.
The Beastie Boys were from kind of another era almost
right.
of music, if you ask me, in my opinion.
Sure. I can see that.
When you look kind of back to then, Beastie Boys, obviously, they weren't, I mean, when you look at lyrical ability, it wasn't, on the level that Eminem was doing it. You also had Vanilla Ice. Don't forget Vanilla Ice.
I didn't want to go there.
Ice Ice
I know I
Baby.
didn't. I didn't want to go there.
But and then of course you can't get the famous Marky Mark.
True.
Okay, so
But
is he actually a rapper?
I mean,
like,
Ooh, touchy.
I feel like you throw him out there just to kind of put it in perspective, because Eminem compared to Marky Mark, right? Marky Mark was more of I would say almost a gimmick rapper, and kind of he was like a white dude. It was kind of corny when he did it, and now you have Eminem, who is like putting the lyrical ability there, and he's doing a lot more than just like feel goods. And he's not getting laughed at.
he's not just feeling the vibration. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you want to say?
Yes.
Okay, so I wanted to mention this, and this is, for me, always what comes to mind first when it comes to Eminem. So Eminem, also in my background, definitely enjoyed his music before. For me, he was like rage music. Like if I was in a bad mood, Eminem just sounded better. It just fit for me. It was a good release, driving with it on or whatever. Not to blast it to everyone else, but just for myself. And that was always like a therapeutic release, and I always enjoyed him for that reason.
So it's interesting you mentioned that, because I feel like that is from the Slim Shady persona, right? That's kind of his alter ego that he created, that was the more violent, the more risque, the more aggressive side, right? And it's funny that you mentioned that, because the other week we were talking about Lady Gaga and that type of persona. I want to say fringe or extreme or whatever you'd want to consider her to be, right? And is that
no problem?
Really the same person? Like, is that, are there two sides of the coin? Lady Gaga wore everything like that for a long time, and then in more recent years has kind of changed that persona. Marshall Mathers, Eminem, right? He wore Slim Shady because it worked, right?
Right.
It worked. And I almost feel like it's actually has been dialed back in his later years too. That's what I think.
I have a confession here. I never thought of Slim Shady as a persona per se. Only when I read that recently that was supposed to be a persona did I even think of it that way. I thought that was just himself calling himself something else. Like, to me, the Dark Knight is still Batman. You know what I mean? Like, it's just terminology. I didn't realize how much of a character it was supposed to be until later.
See, the thing is, like, making that comparison, I don't feel like it's as the same as Gaga, right? Where that's clearly a character.
Yes.
Slim Shady, yes, a character, but also embodiment. Like, it's like him on steroids, right? It's like an exaggerated version of himself.
Yes. Caricature.
Just like how we play exaggerated versions of ourselves on the internet. Hey,
nice.
Every day.
Nice.
No, I from what I understand is so you had Eminem, the bass rapper, and basically Eminem started out and he was the guy rapping. Obviously it's always Marshall Mathers, but then he was thinking about giving up rap, right? And nobody would sign him, and then it was only real till Dr. Dre discovered him that he kind of got his hopes back up. A lot of background story to all that, because he was so, I'll say, in the box, right? He was in the rhythm of he was just like another rapper, right? He didn't really stand out. There wasn't anything that was super crazy about his style. He had lyrics and stuff like that, but he created the Slim Shady's persona, and now he's getting violent. He's talking about killing people. He's talking about and it's the shock value within that. Like, as hey, I'm just Eminem. You can't really do that.
Here's the weird thing then. Who was dressed as Robin as Dre was Batman? That was supposed to be Slim and not Eminem then.
No. So, well, you'll find that Slim, Shady, and Eminem start to do crossovers as the music kind of develops.
Do either of you know the name Chris Gaines? I forgot his other name. Garth Brooks. Do you guys know Garth Brooks / Chris Gaines?
Heard of, right?
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
Well, to clarify, do you know what? No, just come clean, man. Admit it. No. With Chris Gaines, I believe there was a wig, and then like different kinds of mood lighting in their photo shoots. That engine was on for Chris Gaines. Like, we were supposed, I think to a degree, they wanted us to be tricked, at least a little. But with like Eminem, I'm like, hey, that guy looks like Eminem. That guy looks like Slim Shady. They're in my brain. They're always the same. I never thought about it till today, really.
Well, we learned something new today.
So interesting. Just to continue on that conversation, just for a brief second.
Sure.
So, if people know about D12, stands for Dirty Dozen, right? Originally was supposed to be a 12-man hip hop crew. And basically they were supposed to be all Detroit based. Eminem wasn't even supposed to be involved in the group. He took the place of another member. The group ended up only being 6 members, but each with alter egos. So, right. So making 12 people. So kind of a little nugget of goodness right there.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I learned something new today too.
Nice. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Nice.
So I mean, I remember when the Marshall Mathers LP came out, basically the homosexual community, like, were in an uproar, right? Because of all the content that was on the Marshall Mathers LP.
Right.
So, I actually don't know for sure. I mean, I was just a kid really at that time.
Sure.
What the, I guess, mass media and everybody really thought, but I remember that coming out and just the controversy which surrounded it, definitely, in my opinion, helped skyrocket his career, in the long run.
You know, I put in my notes, talk about Elton John, and I remember thinking, I still don't know how that happened. Like, because I had the same impression for the most part that the homosexual community was anti-Eminem. And whoever masterminded that, I'm assuming Eminem himself. I was like, man, that's badass. I love that they were together, you know, and that was cool. I enjoyed that performance. I remember liking it a lot, actually. Yeah.
No, that's more of a artist to artist respect kind of thing, where Elton didn't look at it as like it's an attack on the homosexual community. He looked at it as like, this man is an amazing artist, and like, I'm willing to put myself out there. And then basically, if you actually replay that performance, the camera angle is shot so perfectly that after they do the bow and then Eminem puts his hands in the air, he's actually flipping off basically the world, saying, you know, what are you guys going to do now? Like, I just performed with the biggest gay artist there is.
Interesting. See, I didn't know that either. And I get that.
See?
Yeah. Learning stuff.
There we go. This is why we bring this guy around. All right.
Good stuff. So I noticed a long time ago, I remember seeing and hearing stuff like almost any musical person at all, if you just interview them, they'll say something like, you know, the Limp Bizkit guy, oh, he's great. And then, oh, wow, he's nice, and they're friends and blah, blah, blah. And I noticed, or at least I felt that way about Eminem as well. Maybe that's rose-colored glasses. It's been a while. But I feel like when he was doing things, well, maybe not like the public had their issues, but I feel like that was much more common then. Eminem was kind of everywhere for a while there. That was actually pretty cool.
It's funny that you mentioned that your observation is that everyone probably liked him, because didn't, like, around when he was getting more popular, he made those songs that were like dissing all other artists.
Oh,
like,
okay.
like in the middle, right? Like,
totally.
Well, he was after Britney Spears and NSYNC and all basically the boy bands.
See, here's my theory on that. Again, with the intentional crafting of an image, right? Like, I think he was just becoming too liked. And then there came the Christina Aguilera oral sex thing. I don't know if you guys remember that. Carson Daly and So
Fred Durst,
Yeah, exactly, right?
Durst,
See, again, Fred Durst, right? So that was interesting to me. Like, I don't know how much beef there was. I feel like that was crafted. It's like the Taylor Swift, Kanye West thing. You know,
I'm gonna let you finish.
Go ahead. I was gonna say, good man. Thank you. Appreciate it. I was gonna say, like, I don't think any of that was a coincidence. And whether or not he thought Beyonce's video was better, it was just like, I'm gonna be on stage now. And by the way, someone should have tackled him if that was real. And that's why I don't think it was. You know, like, he was just on stage and he was just talking. And that's how a lot of the Eminem stuff felt to me. It was like, okay, so prior to the recording of this, we're talking about WWE. It felt like a WWE moment. You know, when I get my belt, you come up and hit me with a chair. Oh, look at this betrayal and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's all crafted. And as a viewer, I just enjoy. How much of it do I believe? That's a different animal. You know, I don't think anyone thinks Christina Aguilera did those things with Carson Daly or Fred Durst. Who knows? But those are his lyrics, right? Like, we analyze his lyrics, we talk about them, and they're interesting, of course. They're thought-provoking. But how much of it is real, even to him? I don't know.
If he came out with a song like that today, which actually did kind of happen, the Machine Gun Kelly thing, right? Like, right. But let's say he came out with that kind of song today, right? I believe more today that it could be a manufactured insertion in which both parties knew that that was going to happen.
Right.
I believe it more today. Now, back then, I'm willing to bet, or at least what I want to believe, and to me, this is going to be true, is that he just makes really awesome lyrics, and it was a good thing that he planned to throw diss tracks out there because it rhymed and because it fit the narrative of the song, right? And because he's an awesome writer and a lyricist. So he threw that in there as part of his plan, not telling anybody and not saying, hey, by the way, I'm going to cut you in on this. I'm pretty sure that none of them knew at that point that was going to happen.
Well, it's a mastermind. I think that he came up with himself, but you also look at, and we're going back to more roots, but hip hop was primarily in a box. Nobody listened to hip hop really, right? Not heavy like popular culture. Speaking of popular culture, who was he aiming at directly, right? He was aiming at who was popular and what was in, right? So what better way to communicate and, you know, facilitate other people than attacking artists that they know?
It's like the whole unpopular opinion coming up, but it's like the whole Donald Trump thing, right? Like just say crazy shit, right? And people will listen, and like whether or not they like you, whether or not they're gonna hate on you, people will listen.
I remember there were town hall meetings, not in Hawaii, where someone was being rude and shouting. Again, just a town hall meeting, but somehow that made national news. And I'm like, yo, we're teaching people to be rude at town hall meetings because they're gonna get on national news. So anyway.
Basically, I mean,
yeah, seriously, right? But okay, cool stuff. All right, so there's this thing that I remember him saying, and it did not bother me, but it reminded me of something else. The something else was, I think it was the Beatles. We're bigger than Jesus, which was a crazy statement. So anyway, Eminem saying, "Man, I'm Elvis," or something like that. I'm bigger than Elvis. I remember. Well, one, I wasn't offended. I think that was a compliment to Elvis. Two, he did not get a lot of backlash for that. I guess because of the lack of religious connotation. But even then, that felt so similar that I'm surprised no one pounced on him. You know, shame on you, be more humble, or whatever.
Well, I think the song you're referring to is Just Lose It. And there was a whole bunch of Michael Jackson controversy that was associated with that song. So I think the Elvis line, had it been standalone in something a little bit different, may have stood out. Yeah, everyone, even Michael himself, was pretty upset over that particular track.
So real quick, what I'm remembering is from an interview where he's talking to a reporter or something. Two,
okay.
I don't know the Michael Jackson thing. Actually, I don't know if you guys want to get into that because I'm sure it's a big mess. I don't know a Michael Jackson thing. Okay, no problem. Moving on. No problem. Well, okay, so this is something I was going to refer to earlier with something else you guys mentioned, but we were bouncing around, which is fine too. But anyway, there comes a point now. Okay, so again, one of his lyrics was super offensive, and then the other lyric was also offensive. There comes to a point now where, like, what does this man have to say to offend me? I'm curious. Like, are we where are we now with his offensiveness? You know,
like offend you, like personally?
Well,
like...
I mean, yeah, but like, I mean, in general, like, I don't know what he would be saying at this point, because so now it's like if he were to write lyrics now. Man, how crazy would it have to be to really rattle the cage, you know?
See, the thing is, like I mentioned earlier, I feel like it's way easier now to rattle the cage.
Okay.
I feel like if he threw the same not hate speak, but you know, if he threw the same controversial stuff out now, like another, like a 2019 version of that out now, it would rock the waves way more.
Wait, time out.
Okay.
Because I think what you're referring to is actually Kamikaze. He dropped the project out of nowhere, and that's where basically he went at everyone for the most part in the entire industry. I mean, to some, they say basically revitalized his career at this point. Wow. So it is a double edge where before he was saying things that were so controversial and out there that not a lot of people were saying, and that caused a lot of talk to start about him. And then now he drops Kamikaze, where he's doing essentially the same thing. A lot of people say, oh, you know, I'm so glad the old Eminem is back and all these other things. But before, you had to have a marketing scheme, you had to have a rollout plan and music videos and all those things. And then you look at what Chris is talking about, where he dropped Kamikaze without promotion, without warning. It just came out randomly one night and basically took the internet by storm. And, you know, I know the next day at work, it was like, hey, did you hear that new Eminem album that came out?
Exactly. Not just a song, the whole damn thing.
Nice. Okay. You know, I am clearly not rolling with the same people these days because I feel like in the old days I would have heard that. You know, these days I didn't even realize like Lemonade, I guess from Beyonce. I did not dig it up, but I knew it was a big deal. I knew that dropped too.
Oh, that
Only
was
later
another
though.
one, surprise drop, right?
Yeah.
So
J.
that's
Cole.
an interesting way of attacking the problem there. It's interesting because yeah, I mean like that's free, right? Zero advertising means free. So hey, why not? But okay, so you would say that was a success then. Clearly the
definitely.
waves made it to you. Okay, nice. All right,
Yeah.
cool. Nice.
Well, it accomplished exactly what he wanted to do, obviously, right?
Right.
Because then you get all the free advertising from everybody else. Like I had mentioned earlier, Machine Gun Kelly, right? That was like, that went on for like a few days at least, to where they were re-releasing like little diss tracks against each other.
Back and forth.
Back and forth.
Oh, okay.
Like-
huh.
Well, that was so easy to do now, right? You go Instagram live
Yes.
and boom, everyone in the world sees it. Whereas before, it's like, okay, I have to shoot a video, edit a video, send a video out, or at least plan to send it out, and then
And someone's got to play it, right?
Yeah, getting it on the air.
if YouTube wasn't a thing, then someone's got to play this video
Yeah.
or this track, right? But now, instant. And all that is just click after follow, after retweet, after take your pick, right? And it just spreads like wildfire.
You know, the funny thing is, everything you guys just said made me think of porn. So, hey, everybody enjoy this commentary right here. A long time ago, when there was... yes, enjoy. So, a long time ago, when there were movies, right, it was a big deal. Like, holy crap, look at this crazy stuff that's going on. But a normal person can't do that. Like, I'm so jealous of these cool movie stars. And then one day, the handheld camcorder came out. And the commentary was made back then, at least, or from what I've heard. Oh man, there's gonna be porn everywhere now because everyone has a camera. This is ridiculous. And again, in the old days, if I wanted to get my album or someone's album from East Coast to West Coast, here's all the things we gotta do. And now it's like, nope, we have a different plan. There's different ways now. There's literally zero promotion plans, which again blows my mind. Actually, is quite fascinating. But yeah, okay. Anyway.
So wait, so you take the camcorder and then you make porn and you throw it out there.
Hold on. I'm taking notes.
Kim
Slow
Kardashian.
down. Say it
Yeah.
again. Yes. You know, I already started on it, so I'm just going to end this thought. The commentary I got a long time ago, someone said this and it was correct, which is Kim Kardashian had sex on tape and then got famous. You know, we have a word for that. And I'm like, wow, that's rough, but actually quite true. Prior to that, I had no idea who the F that was. And, Paris Hilton, same thing. By the way, my show is coming on next week. What a coincidence. So that was an interesting engine choice by those people. Anyway.
Nice segue.
Nice segue indeed.
Oh, okay. Wait, no, here's the segue I wanted to make, but then I had to say those things. So what you guys talked about with, I'm going to say this on Twitter or Instagram, and then, this guy says this, well, I'm going to rebuttal him. You know what? I miss rap battles, man. Eminem was a beast from what I've heard and from what I've seen. I miss those things. I don't even know if those still go on. And if they do, they're definitely not as common for me.
Ooh, rap battle has definitely changed since when we were growing up, and I can't even categorize it as the same thing.
Oh, interesting. Oh, okay.
Entirely different conversation.
So does it still go on? The answer is yes. But yeah, I think it's a little different. Now, granted, it's not like when we were growing up, or at least you and I, Alvin, that
Yep.
we were going to watching these rap battles, right? Our view of it is 8 Mile, basically.
Yes, absolutely.
right?
Yes.
That when you say rap battle, I think 8 Mile, and I don't know if even when 8 Mile came out, that was actually a picture of it, because 8 Mile was kind of supposed to be a dramatized, autobiographical look into Eminem's upbringing, sort
Right.
of. It was supposed to loosely kind of follow his footsteps.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if even that was a little outdated by the time we saw it. I mean, probably was.
Definitely. I mean, you had a lot more organized, and I wouldn't say it was scripted quite yet, but now it gets to like current state of battle rap is people writing their rounds. I'm gonna diss this particular guy. I have a week to prepare. let me,
Oh,
pen my best rhymes. So it's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
even
yeah.
like freestyle or anything like that anymore. So yeah, definitely a different category at this point in time.
okay. John Legend's wife's name is
Chrissy Teigen.
yes. That thing. Are you referring to that? Because that is absolutely not rap battles to me.
Wait.
Lip sync battle?
Lip sync battle?
Yeah, that's not the same thing at all. No, wait.
No, not even close.
Okay, because
Not even close.
Still entertaining.
okay,
Those are
it is
entire
definitely
productions.
entertaining. But yes, yeah, because those like I was watching something and it was like Whose Line, but not. It was younger and crazier, I guess. But it was one of those shows where there's some of it involves rapping. So imagine a team of 6 people. They all collaborate to make rhymes to dump on the other team. But
Talk about Wild and Out.
might
Nick
have been.
Cannon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no.
yeah. See, the juice thing though, from what I remember was I can come up with 2 lines that rhyme. You know, doing a paragraph is a totally different animal. And from what I saw, I remember thinking, oh, each person's doing like 2 lines. That's very plausible now. Like
Yep.
I feel like because I think it was Snoop. I think Snoop's friends would tell him they call it like the pointing game or something. All right, I'm gonna point over there. It's a lamp. Go, give me 5 minutes on a lamp. And the dude starts just freestyling on a damn lamp. And I'm like, damn, that's amazing. I feel like that's not as common these days, unfortunately.
It's not. And I think even in the examples you're describing, I'm pretty sure most of those are at least slightly, if not completely scripted. Right?
Ooh.
That 6-on-6, I'm pretty
Oh,
sure it's
yeah,
actually
yeah, yeah.
it's actually mostly scripted, right? Drop the mic with James the James Corden thing,
Oh,
Kevin,
totally, dude. Oh my god.
100% scripted.
Yeah.
Right? So again, it's kind of plays into what we see of 8 Mile, right? The same concept, but it's just framed for today's entertainment.
Yes.
Definitely.
You know, the most recent, wow, I'm dating myself here. The most recent rap battle thing that I actually followed was with a guy named Jin. Do you guys remember Jin?
Oh, the
Yeah.
Korean guy.
Yes. Oh my God. I love Jin. He was
Chinese.
amazing. I think he was Chinese.
Chinese.
He was Chinese.
Okay.
Actually, I remember him schooling people in Chinese, which is awesome. So anyway, the show that he was on was huge. And I remember one thing that blew my mind because it doesn't sound like a big deal, but I can't do this in normal life. So anyway, the statement was, all right, the 2 of you will be rap battling. Enjoy. By the way, no one gets to swear. You swear, you lose. I'm like, wow,
that
that's
was
insane.
That was on BET. That's been
Yeah.
a hot minute since that was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jin doesn't even really rap anymore.
Oh my God. So have you followed? I don't know his deal. I would if I knew what's up. So what does that mean? Is he just retired or what's up?
Oh, we're talking about Eminem now. Let's not go
Okay,
on
fine.
a tangent.
That's what we do. By the way, that's what we do. We go on crazy ass tangents, but good point. Good point. Well, the reason why I mentioned that is I swear on a day to day. I imagine there are less than 10-minute chunks where I'm swearing already back to back. And I can't imagine freestyling, trying to spit exactly what comes to mind and dialing back the swearing. That's pretty cool.
Are you saying that you have a problem?
Yeah, I do, man. I go to Swears Anonymous. That's what I do. Okay.
Yeah, you know.
Okay, so I remember one of the things, I don't know how crucial Eminem was to 50 Cent coming out, but in my mind, they're linked. Is that accurate?
100%.
Okay, cool. So I don't know where 50 is either, but I always remember thinking like the G Unit thing. Like that was one of the products I was actually, or brands I was actually familiar with, which is not as common. Cause like I cannot name Beyonce's perfume. I'm assuming she has some, I don't know. But I remember G Unit and I remember thinking those things. And you know, it was interesting to me that I can't name anything with Eminem. I assume he has a cologne.
He had a clothing brand for a while, Shady Clothing.
Oh, wow.
I don't really think, I think that's died since, I don't know, early 2000s. But as far as other things, like if you go back, like Paul Rosenberg was real particular. His manager was real particular about things he got involved in early on in his career, because basically they were trying to portray this persona, you know, like the don't F with me, like I'm crazy, I'm just going to talk mad shit kind of thing. And then how would you feel that same guy trying to sell you Pepsi?
Ah, interesting. Fair point.
I mean, there were shady records, right? Like,
Yeah. That's still a thing.
yeah.
Okay. Nice. Actually, who is the most recent protege? Is there someone? Like, I'm assuming there's someone out there. I don't know the name.
Eminem has been heavily promoting an artist named Boogie.
okay.
He just he just actually dropped a project, I think last week or the week before. And he's always talking about Skylar Grey, another artist kind of in that shady Aftermath camp. I'm not too sure anyone else.
I know the name Skylar Grey, but I don't know why I know that name.
The one I know her from is I Need a Doctor, which actually is Eminem and Dr. Dre. But I know she's been on other records too. I just can't think of any off the top of my head.
Nice. Okay. For the record, all you listeners out there, I did a little bit of research. I don't even know if Kush has done any, but clearly his knowledge vastly surpasses mine. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff.
It was actually a good lead up week for me. I had the opportunity. I went back and listened to some of the old records, and I was like, man, I can't believe like I still don't listen to this. Like just today, actually, I was listening to the Eminem show, and I was like, man, there's
nice.
a lot of good songs on here. Things that, you know, with music changing so fast now that it's no longer can you put out an album and then a year later, you know, potentially drop another album. It's almost if you don't have a new song every week, you're forgotten about.
Yeah, I know in the movie industry, the statement is something like, you're only as good as your last movie. So even if you were tearing it up 5 movies ago, no one cares, which is crazy, but true.
Right.
I remember there was like an Eminem interview, and someone said, what's your normal life like? And Eminem said, some people probably think I'm angry all the time. And okay, first of all, I kind of laugh, right? Seriously, right? I kind of laugh. But I mean, the flip side is, yeah, I do too. I think that too. I'm sure it's not literally true, but like if you think about his background, especially the lyrics, if you think about the image, like I would think that. I can't name happy Eminem moments. They have to exist. I'm sure they do.
Isn't his daughter like a famous Instagram model now? Like,
Yeah, I think she's
Cool.
like an Instagram influencer.
yeah,
at
she's
this
like an
point.
Instagram influencer. He's supposedly like super like, you know, proud of her, and he's like, you know, is all up in her stuff like all the time.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So as far as I know, that's a pretty like happy connection. Like, you know, him trying to help her out, do her thing. I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think the relationship has definitely grown, obviously, as
Yeah, it was
Haley's
problematic
gotten older.
before, right? Yeah, but
Yeah.
like
Yes.
apparently, yeah, they've kind of mended a little bit over the years.
So, I mean, there's a lot of home issues. I obviously never, you know, even met Eminem, so I don't really know other than just hearing stories and things like that. But it was, you know, troubled upbringing, constantly moving, changing schools. So it's not like he had a peer group. And then, you know, he met his best friend, Proof, which he actually passed away I think in
Interesting.
2006 or so. And then that kind of relates to some of his music and, you know, a whole bunch of other things. Obviously, you talked about his mom a little bit. That was always a big controversial point. But now it seems as though he has kind of made amends with that.
Oh, nice.
And they're on
Nice.
better terms now. I haven't
Huh.
heard about his wife in a while.
Kim?
So, Kim.
Kim?
Ex-wife?
Yes.
Yes.
Twice.
Yeah. So
Oh,
they got
I didn't
married
know that.
twice.
Oh, I didn't know
yeah.
that.
It was
Right?
that was an interesting
Yeah, about that.
Okay.
but so yeah, there's not really much to say about some sort of happy times or kind of things that were positive in his life per se. At least not that is out there for the public.
I was going to say, the funny thing is, he would probably try to stifle that, I guess. Or maybe the old M. I don't know about now. You know, like, don't let it out. There's a meme kind of thing with Kanye West. And I guess Kanye's thing is to not smile. So the GIF starts with him smiling. And the moment he realizes there's a camera there, boom, no smile. So, anyway. Yeah,
Sounds
it's
like a
silly.
Kanye. Sounds
Yeah,
Kanye.
yeah. By the way, I will be voting for Kanye West in 2020. Okay, moving on.
Oh,
I
yeah.
I can't let that. It's so ridiculous. I can't let that go. I can't let it go. Okay, anyway.
Who wouldn't vote for Kanye?
I'm voting for Kanye's password.
Oh God.
0000, baby.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hold on, I can't remember that. I'm gonna write it down. Hold on.
I know, seriously. Hey, so we talked about how Eminem, right? Insane in terms of the development of lyrics, insane in terms like otherworldly, in fact, for the time. Like
Yes.
unnaturally good at this. I mean, through practice, I'm sure, but an amazing talent, right? So this was a listener submitted question that we got from
Nice. Okay.
our boy Klingon of Sparta, who's also in the Twitch chat right now. And the question is, and it relates to this, so you guys can think about it for a sec. Is there something that you feel that you're good at, whether through talent or through work, and what do you do to kind of get good?
Oh, interesting. Kush, I always throw it at the guest first. Did you want to go first?
Of course, always.
And this doesn't have to be like a smoke up our own asses type thing, but
Yeah.
it's an interesting discussion point, right? Like, can you relate to that Eminem like work ethic, or
I wouldn't even want to try and compare to Eminem's work ethic to start with. I mean, I played soccer all my life, so I think I'm pretty decent at that. But that really is just about the training, hard work, and discipline. Ultimately, I think discipline is probably the hardest out of all of them, just because there's so many opportunities to just be like, I can do it later. I can put it off till tomorrow. But then, there goes another day. And then before you know it, another day.
True.
And another day. So I think the repetition in the basics. So, if we're talking about music, it's repetition. For rap specifically is, rhyming words, right? But then pushing yourself beyond the boundaries of, 1, 2, 3 rhyming word, 1, 2, 3 rhyming word. Now it's, word rhymes with word, and kind of becoming more intricate with it. It's just, I think, pushing yourself to continue to develop, at least for me.
Okay. Nice. No, I mean, I totally feel that. I feel that. First and foremost, I consider myself a writer. I've worked on other things, but let's focus on the writing for a second. So there's this book I was reading, and it posed a very interesting question. It says, how do you know that you're a writer? Or are you a writer? Question mark, right? So one of the questions was, do you think about writing all the time? Yep. Do you work on writing? Yep. Okay. When you're not working on writing, do you? Yep. And I'm like, oh, I guess that fits me. And the reason why I say that is, now I'll have to say I have not seen 8 Mile, but if there's a scene in 8 Mile where
Wait.
I know.
The fucking show.
How are you gonna put that
Okay.
out there?
I will.
public now.
Wait, chat, internet. This is also the guy who
Yes,
has not
go ahead.
watched all the Star Wars movies.
Oh man.
Correct. I've seen Star Wars 4, but
Yes.
not 5 and 6. I've seen 1, 2, 3. Hey man, there you go. I get credit for that because 1, 2,
do.
3, right? So no, I don't. I don't get. Okay, but anyway, I know. I realize that I have lost some coolness points. Okay, moving on.
Can we kick him off the Eminem podcast? Like, seriously, at least got to see 8 Mile. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay.
Continue. Now that we've shamed you a little bit,
All right,
go
Mr.
ahead.
Mr.
Thank you.
Writer, let's
Yeah.
hear it.
This is what friends do. Okay. If there's a scene where Eminem is like, see, I was gonna say taking a dump, but let's say eating a sandwich or I don't know, cleaning his car, and then a second later he busts out a notebook and starts writing in it, I'd be like, I completely believe it. It fits perfectly. I am sure that guy, to put it mildly, works on his lyrics as much as I work on whatever I'm working on. And there's that time element, like it's so easy to see him on stage and be like, yeah, he's a badass. But it's not just that. It's also a super hard worker. He is. You just know it. It'd be silly to deny it, So yes, I imagine for those same things, like imagine the questions, but flipped onto him. Yeah, Eminem, do you think about lyrics? Oh, you do? Okay. Do you work on lyrics? Okay. When you're not working on lyrics, okay, yeah. And you're like, I'm sure they're all yeses. Like he's constantly working. I love that. That's so cool.
In 8 Mile, you're right. They do depict him a lot of the time he spends is working on lyrics, like all the time in the
believe
movie.
that.
It's pretty interesting.
That's cool.
So I'm going to turn it a little bit differently because I'm not nearly as obsessed with writing as you are or anything as that, right? I'm no lyricist, like our guest here. But what I think at what I've grown to become, I don't want to say good at, but used to doing is adapting to all these different types of situations, right?
Nice.
We can have a discussion about writing. I'm not a writer in any kind of way. I don't think about writing all the time. Me personally, I like to dabble, and I don't put this out enough in terms of on this channel or on this show, in that that's kind of the whole point behind this. We're creating a space and a thing where you don't have to be the best writer. You don't have to be super into it. But if you like doing a little bit, it's cool. We'll talk about it. We'll relate to it, Everyone's written something at some point in their life, right?
True.
I don't have to be a rapper, but have you listened to rap music? Do you think it's kind of cool? Yeah, I do. I don't have to rap myself, and I enjoy it. We can have a conversation about it. We can have fun.
Nice. Totally agree.
So I feel like in order to do that as I don't want to say skill, but to be able to jump into those kind of things, all these, we'll say potpourri, right? you kind of have to have an open mind, and that'll be my tip in terms of to answer the question, right? Kind of have an open mind and don't just turn off of anything, because you never know what sliver of something could be good for you. So speaking of 8 Mile, now that you brought that out, we're gonna dive into it more.
Nice.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, like we talked about in the Lady Gaga show this past week, is that, you know, he went from music to acting, sort of. It's not like he's been in a ton of movies since. But I'd like to go out and say, on a limb, is that he did a fucking pretty good job in 8 Mile.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Like, as an actor, granted, he was playing himself.
Not too hard of a role.
Yeah, not too hard of a role.
Right.
But, like, just, you know, the ability to convey emotion, you know, to jump into scenes, he did really fucking good.
No, I definitely agree. I mean, put him back in the environment that he kind of grew up in, right? They obviously shot it in Detroit, where he kind of was brought up, went to St. Andrews, which was where he used to do his old rap battles and things like that. So I imagine getting in the same mind state as he was back then wasn't too difficult. And they even talk about him writing lyrics on set like he would, you know, back in the day.
Nice.
So
That's cool.
You talk about, you know, Eminem eating lunch or eating a sandwich. I'm sure when he was on set, that definitely happened.
I'll say it again. I didn't see it, but I know stuff about it. Okay. So anyway, I have seen the clips of, in my mind, I just call it mom spaghetti. I've seen clips of that prior to the rapping. Like, oh man, I got to go out there. I got to kill it. He's in the bathroom. This is the psyching yourself up stuff. I'm like, I'm enjoying that. And you know, that's acting. And I'm like, yeah, I am enjoying it. That was good stuff.
So, it's funny you mentioned that, right? You have not even seen the movie, but you know Mom Spaghetti.
Yeah,
right?
totally.
Not only was that, I mean, it's a movie about a white rapper from Detroit and played by a white rapper from Detroit. Again, it's not like a real mainstream movie topic, I guess, or movie theme, yet still, you know, it creates things that you remember decades later, like Mom Spaghetti. Lose Yourself, actually, which is probably one of the most hyped songs of all time, actually won an Academy Award for Best Original Song.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, for that movie.
I want to say that was the first hip hop.
I think so too, actually. I think it's the first hip hop song to win an Academy Award. I'm pretty sure.
Nice.
So here's an interesting question. I remember myself where I was when I first went to go see 8 Mile. Do you remember, Chris, what your evening was like when you went to go see it?
Oh man, like, so I remember. So I was in college at the time. Whoa, really dating myself.
Moving on.
Ooh, okay, sorry, really dating myself. I remember that it was right around the time when things like Linkin Park was becoming more popular, you know, around then. So it was just, I think we like stole a bunch of beers from somewhere, and like, you know, it was just a real hype movie, right? Because especially at the end, right? The spoilers alert for a movie that's like 15 years old, that there's a giant rap battle at the end, and Mom Spaghetti destroys, of course, right? So, but it's so hype. Just the build up to that, like the work up. So you leave that movie like on cloud 9. It's so like pumping. So besides that, I don't remember. It was a long time ago. But I just remember like being super pumped, like leaving that movie with a bunch of my buddies from the college dorms or something.
Oh, nice. So
where were you?
So I was actually underage, right? So it was, I think it was rated R, or maybe I'm pretty sure it was rated R.
Dating yourself too.
So I was underage, and I went with my friend. We'll call him Bazooka Joe, and my dad actually.
Yes.
Nice.
I somehow convinced my dad. I said, "Hey, you know that rapper guy I've been listening to? He's got a new album out, or a new movie out." And he's like, "Which rapper guy?" And then I play him, you know, some Eminem song that's not
too
super vulgar. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I like this guy." And I'm
nice.
like, yeah. So played in there, and then the three of us went to go to the movie. So that was, I think, opening night. I was pretty stoked.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know this, but 8 Mile is considered a family movie. Yeah, good call. Never mind. No. All right. The thing I was gonna mention was, the more, okay, so writer mode, right? When I see a movie, I start to do templates. I start to break it down in my head, that kind of stuff. Now, again, I've never seen 8 Mile, but I have seen Rocky. So Rocky has that thing where it's like, you're a loser, Rock. You're never going to win. That guy's going to defeat you, blah, blah, blah. But then the big fight at the end, surprise, there's a big fight at the end. And it's awesome. You know, you sit there, you root for him, you have a great time. And I'm like, damn, I do want to see 8 Mile. I want to see 8 Mile more now. This is fun. I'm enjoying this. I will look it up. Good stuff.
I feel like it was on Netflix last month.
Oh, I don't know.
I think it
Probably.
was.
I think it was.
I think it was.
I'm pretty sure it was.
Okay.
If you're lucky, maybe it might still be there.
Nice.
I don't know for sure.
Shout outs to Netflix. Love them.
Or you can go buy it for like $5.
Yeah,
Also true. At this point.
probably
Yeah, that's true.
at this point, right?
Nice. I was going to say, I feel like in other countries, if you are a singer and you want to act, it's cool. Or vice versa. If you're an actor and you want to sing, it's cool. But not so common here in America. And I'm glad that 8 Mile was so enjoyed. That's pretty cool.
To be fair though, it's not like Eminem like acted in a whole bunch of other shit. He's not an actual actor singer, right? Like
Correct.
That's
See,
what
but-
that doesn't become his thing. It was perfect because it was autobiographical, right? So that's kind of
There's one movie, in case any of the listeners out there know it, The Wash. Eminem plays a role in that of like this crazy, psycho, insane guy. Actually really entertaining, but not a big role. I think that was probably his second biggest role other than 8 Mile.
Nice. Okay.
Another movie for you to watch, Alvin.
I know.
there you go.
Dude, for the record, so of course I know guys who love Star Wars. And one time I had one of my friends tell me, Alvin, I told my friends about you. And I'm like, and he goes, they don't believe you exist. I'm like, what does that mean? Like, you know Marvel, you know DC, you watch all these movies, but you haven't seen 4, 5, 6. I'm a myth to
Missing
some
some
people. That's a weird
classics.
thing. Yes, I know. I have seen Scarface like way later after it came out, but Scarface was cool. There you go. I have not seen Godfather 1 or 2.
Mm.
Yeah. I'm just going to make everybody sad. I'm going to stop. Okay.
it's all good. So I wanted to kind of read it into the entire reason why we're doing this show, because we touched on it in the beginning, but we should really jump into it for a little bit. Eminem performing live February 15th here.
Mm.
And guess who's going?
Nice.
Your boys.
That is weird and cool that he's actually going to be here. That's pretty amazing.
Mm.
Actually, it is kind of weird if you think about it.
Yeah, I didn't expect
Well,
it. I didn't
I
expect
think he's on his way to Australia, I want to say. And it's kind of a pit stop. So it kind of makes sense
Okay, that makes sense.
when like Bruno came over and was going to Japan. I think this just kind of a pit stop, just so happens to be convenient. So
You know, I will throw this out there. I went to Robin Williams when he was here, and I didn't expect that either. But anyway, in his show, he said, this is my last stop. So it does seem to be more common to just be a pit stop. I don't know why he chose that in that case. I don't know.
But anyway, I guess the point is that I kind of consider, and I'm not sure if Kush would agree, Eminem is one of those acts, just like actually Bruno Mars, is that's a bucket list type act, you know? Like that's like it's been with us for like the last almost decade now. Pretty much, or not decade, 20 years.
20 years.
Yeah. So totally an act that I think he'll be a good, not just rapper on stage. I think it'll be a good performance. Like, I believe he's a good performer. His show will be amazing. And that was definitely a point in which we had to make, like, dude, we gotta go when we go to this shit, right? Like,
yeah. No,
Nice.
I had an opportunity to see him, I want to say like at the Up in Smoke tour when he was kind of first coming out and making a buzz. Didn't end up going one reason or another. So when I found out he was coming here, I had, made appropriate accommodations to ensure that tickets were obtained and there was no question about my attendance.
Yeah, there's an internet phrase that I really like, and I believe it applies here. Take my money. The moment you heard about it, just take the money. Go, take it. Take the money. Let's do it.
in that respect, do you guys have any other like bucket lists? We'll just stick within the realm of acts, like a music show or whatever that you gotta go to before you kick that bucket.
Oh, there's a lot.
Oh, there's a lot.
There's a lot.
See,
Alvin, go for it.
I'm the other way. I don't have a lot, but I'm just gonna alienate myself from my fellow men on this podcast. So, okay, so let's give the manly answer. The manly answer, which is juice because it doesn't apply anymore, and I'm sad, and I'm gonna shout it out back to a previous podcast. Linkin Park was always on that list. Always. I'm still bummed and I'm sad, and I'm also sad about Chester's life and the stuff that he's been through because there was a lot. So that would have been it. It would have been Linkin Park. If someone told me it took $2,000 to get a ticket, I'd be like, I don't care. Take it. Like, that's how much I would go to that, man. Like,
there ain't no shame. Britney Spears has a Vegas show, man. Ain't no shame.
okay, hold on.
Shania Twain's there too.
Let's break it down. Oh, okay. Actually, I don't know if I mentioned this to you guys last time, so I'll mention it now. Okay, so if you win a championship, congratulations. And if you win it again, repeat. And if you win it again, they call that a three-peat. So the reason why I mentioned that is I like to 10-peat songs. That's just something I do. So I 10-peat a lot of Taylor Swift and Ariana Grande. I'm being real here. There you go. That's about as real can be.
Oh, no wonder you haven't seen 8 Mile.
Okay.
No.
Okay, so anyway, the reason why I mentioned that is they are on my bucket list. There you go, keeping it real.
Ain't no hate.
At some point,
that's cool.
I don't
cool.
know, man. That's still kind of weird. Even saying it, I'm like, man, it's kind of.
That's right. Well, Klingon of Sparta in the Twitch chat is agreeing with us. Eminem show Before You Die.
Yeah.
Yes, that's cool. Yes, agreed.
Have you decided?
I mean, the list is too long to continue to go on.
Well,
but,
they throw out like one, you know.
a
throw
couple of
something.
names that definitely come to mind are J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar,
Oh, nice.
Kanye West.
Bro, you better start saving some cash.
I know. And then not even kind of move on from just musical acts. You know, I'd love to go to, you know, an NBA championship game, Super Bowl at some point, things like that. Even there's been discussions about going to like the World Cup.
And
And
that would be something.
I think those platforms to see people at the top tier of whatever aspect it is I don't know, it's super enjoyable.
All right, Kush, I got a couple questions then. First question is, do you know how much Super Bowl tickets are now?
I don't even.
Oh, in the
Yeah.
multitude of thousands,
Yeah, it's something like you could buy a car or go to the Super Bowl. It's crazy.
basically.
It's crazy. Okay,
Well,
I had to ask that.
hopefully
Oh,
I can get hooked up by somebody.
Yeah.
also,
Or win
also
them
nice.
somehow.
Nudge, nudge. Okay, so the other
Yeah.
question then is, are you willing to travel to other countries? Because I would have seen Linkin Park had that been the case all those years ago. Because they were in like Berlin or something. But I was not at all of the age or the financial setup to make that a thing. So my question to you is like, Kendrick Lamar, Japan, boom. Is that you? Are you there already? Did you just shout, take my money? Like, I'm just curious where you are mentally on that. So I'm just wondering how it works for you.
In Japan, is that what you said?
Yeah, like Kendrick Lamar, Japan, boom.
I mean, if I had the opportunity, I think, and financials were correct, I could jump off and do that. I mean, I already flew to Portland. Actually, Chris came with me to go to Portland, and we saw Logic last year.
Oh,
So,
I love Logic. I love Logic. Nice.
ironically enough, guess who's opening for Eminem?
I know. When I learned that, I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Okay. Anyway. Yes.
So, I think given the right time, opportunity, place, yeah, definitely, I would, you know, kind of jump on that.
Nice. Okay. Nice.
I didn't think of an answer to my own question.
Oh,
That's okay, man. That's okay.
Well, I mean, like we saw the Bon Jovi in Vegas. That was amazing, right? I saw the Eagles in Vegas. Those are all pretty high on the list of
Nice.
things.
saw Bruno Mars.
Bruno Mars was definitely 100% need to see before I die. You know, actually, it's a little. I don't want to say it's late, but like it's different now, and there's still a chance to see him as Boyz II Men again.
Oh, wait.
I saw Boyz II Men when I was a kid, like when they actually came here.
Yeah, they were here.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, they're here. I went to that, but I wouldn't mind seeing like Boyz II Men again. That'd be kind of cool.
Can I
I
throw
believe-
Lady Gaga on my list?
Oh,
too?
nice.
Absolutely, you can. That would actually be a really good one.
That would be nice.
That would be really, really good. I don't know if she'd ever come to Hawaii though. That's
Yeah.
See, but then again, there's other people I didn't expect either. So who knows? Hopefully that'll change. Like I didn't expect Snoop to be here, not for a long time. So that was kind of cool.
Well, see, that's different though, right? Snoop is at like the tail end of his career now.
Sad,
Like,
but
he's
true.
just he's just
Well, I
rolling
mean-
with whatever.
Yes, that was my Janet Jackson complaint. But hey, she was here, so that's kind of cool too. Nice. Okay.
Klingon of Sparta in the Twitch chat asking about Adam Levine's Super Bowl show. Is that a bucket list item? Oh my god, that was fucking horrible, by the way.
Big boy, what's up, big boy?
Big boy.
I would go to that, but only if I could see his nipples, because I need to see Adam Levine's nipples.
I suppose.
Yes, the nipples are a high part. Okay, anyway, what I'm referring to is I saw some image. I guess they're pointing out his nipples. I don't remember why that was shown to me, but it was a thing. Okay, all right.
If you check us out on twitter.com/housing network, we had the hot take of the day that the Lil Jon commercial after the halftime
Nice.
show was better than the whole fucking halftime show.
Yeah.
So definitely the hot take of the Super Bowl.
I enjoyed the fumble and the cake thing. That was fun. NFL 100th anniversary. Yeah, that was
I was probably asleep at that point. Like,
Oh, I believe it. I believe it.
oh my
Totally
goodness,
believe
it was horrible.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
So, I like to do first a lot. So, do you guys know the first time that you heard about Eminem or heard an Eminem song, found out Eminem, any of those kind of things?
Huh.
Well, it was definitely My Name Is. I think it was the music video of My Name Is. Again, to me, at that point, I was in school still. It was the really portrayal of a white rapper because, like we had said, for a period of time, that wasn't a mainstream thing. Not like that, right? Not like how he was doing it. Not to mention that song was so dramatically different than a lot of what was going on at the time too. So I'm pretty sure it was just on MTV, and I was like, "What is this?" And everyone's like, kind of blowing up. Like, oh, it made like TRL #1. That I was like, "Whoa, this
Yeah.
is kind of crazy." But I think that was mine.
And I think that's an interesting show about how I was talking about pop culture originally. I believe if you look back to MTV at that time, finding a hip hop song on MTV was very scarce because that would be on BET and
True.
Eminem provided the opportunity for hip hop to go on to MTV. What about you, Alvin?
No, I honestly don't remember. I have to assume one of my friends introduced me to him, but I don't know. Yeah, in my mind, he's just there, which is actually kind of a statement too.
Wait,
Just there.
just there, he just existed.
No, really. There was no birth date.
Yeah.
He was just there.
So my fondest memory, I didn't actually see the music video because I didn't have MTV at the time. I heard My Name Is on the radio.
Oh, nice.
I remember it was #1 on the top 5 at 9 on the local radio station. Every night I would stay up just to hear that song. And it was, "Hey, Mom, Dad, can you buy this record for me?"
I'm like,
"Mom,
what the
Dad,
fuck are
can
you talking
buy this
about?
record for me?" Little did they know.
Yeah. Oh, you did convince them.
Nice.
No.
Oh.
So
Oh, that was
entirely separate.
Yes.
I had to burn a copy for my friend.
Oh well, there was always that back then too.
Yeah.
Favorite Eminem song?
So I'm jumping on with Kling on a Sparta in the Twitch chat. Fucking Mom Spaghetti, come on,
Nice.
dude. I'm
Oh,
sorry,
fair point,
I'm
fair
just be the fair weather bandwagon fan, and Lose Yourself is my favorite song. That you just can't get away with it. It's so good.
Nice. Kush?
Oh,
He's got a more fringe one, guaranteed.
yeah.
I got a way fringe one. Yeah.
It's torn because there's a lot of songs that I would consider good, but the one song that actually sticks out the most to me is probably Brain Damage, and that's off
Interesting.
his the Slim Shady LP. But you talk about 10 Pete, I was probably on 30, 40, 50 Pete
Oh, that's
with
awesome.
that track. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Anyway, all right. So I'll answer this very fringe answer myself. Soldier. I love Soldier. It's a great song. Yeah.
That is a good song.
Yeah. Oh,
Actually, I just want to make an amendment to when I was here last time.
Okay.
You guys put me on the spot and asked me what my favorite song in the 90s was. And I, just so happened to do a little Google searching this time around.
nice.
And so, as it turns out, if you guys do recall, the song Forgot About Dre
Oh, nice.
actually came out in 1999.
Oh, okay.
So,
Hey,
I was
nice,
on the
nice.
fringe. I don't know if that still qualifies, but not quite 2000s yet. Still technically 99. Yeah, I mean, I also remember when that song /2001 album came out. I got that CD. My mom bought it for me. And anybody who's familiar with the album on the CD
The
is a giant marijuana leaf.
The weed leaf on the
So-
front.
Oh,
weed leaf on
yeah,
it,
that's
and it's
right.
like-
That's right. Yeah.
It's
yeah.
glowing. I'm opening the package, trying to be all inconspicuous because I'm with my parents at Chevy's and we're eating lunch. And I'm like, I have my Discman. That doesn't date me. Then I don't know what does. And I'm trying to look at it all sneakily and like slide it into my Discman. They end up being like, "Hey, what's that on the cover?" And I was just like, "Oh, look at it. It's pretty sweet, huh?" And then slide it in there and try and get out of it. But do you I mean, we kind of talked about it earlier, but do you remember when the Marshall Mathers LP came out? Like how you were you into the music, not into the music?
You're gonna have to refresh me on approximately the year.
So it's 2000 is when
2000.
that album came out.
I get confused because sometimes I get confused between the Slim Shady LP and the Marshall Mathers LP. Like which one, like which songs were on which one.
So Marshall Mathers had I Am.
Whatever you think I am. Yeah. Okay. See, that's funny because that what you're leading into 8 Mile at that point, right? So I feel like when Marshall Mathers LP came out, I was into the music just because that's where like they already made the splash with the Slim Shady LP, right? That kind of introduced it to everything and popularized we'll say the diss track, right? And then I feel like that period of time, there was the rap music, the diss tracks, and then there was like alternative grunge coming out, like being more popular and more mainstream. Like I said earlier, Linkin Park, like all those types of songs. And I'm not saying they're exactly the same, but they're kind of like fed the same animals, if you ask me. So that's where I remember being at with that.
Which one is him pretending to be Bill Clinton and then a Monica Lewinsky person pops out of the podium?
That's from Eminem Show. So that's the album after.
Ah, crap. I am confusing them. Okay. I don't remember my deal at the time, but I will say younger then, like different things ish. So I did enjoy it. I think I was always an Eminem fan, even with the super controversial stuff. Also because as a creator and even back then, slightly understanding the engine, I get that he was riling people up on purpose, So I was always a fan. Yeah, good stuff. That's all I'm going to say. Thumbs up on him. Yeah.
I remember that's actually one of the albums that I ended up getting from Eminem. The unfortunate part being that was the time of CDs. I remember going to Target. I remember going to Circuit City. I remember going to Best Buy. MC shelves everywhere. Sold out. Couldn't get a copy. Like impossible almost to get the album. I forget where I ended up getting it or whatever, but they talk about that album specifically being, I think it sold like almost 2 million or something like that, copies in the first week that it came out. And that was like unheard of for a hip hop artist at the time. So I remember the album coming out. The first song on there for anybody who's heard it is called Kill You. If you think about Kanye West current state, his Ye album that just came out, was it I Thought About Killing You Today? So okay. I mean, just kind of imagine those kind of imageries painted. Kill You is a little bit different, but kind of that being as the tone setter for what you're about to get into. So I remember hearing that and just talk about being hype. It was just like, oh boy, here we go. He's true. Back.
Yes. So this is from Dave Chappelle. So clearly a fictional character, but there's this guy. He's a rapper. It's played by Dave Chappelle, but he's like, yeah, I'm a rapper. I rap. And he says, you want to know who the best rapper is? I can tell you who that is, right? Because I've studied the best rappers. And let me tell you the 5 best rappers of all time. This guy's name is Dylon.
Dylon.
Yes. Yes. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. Oh, man. Oh, I love that. It was so good. Yes. Okay, anyway.
Oh, good old Dave Chappelle.
Yes, yeah. Agreed.
I was actually about to say Dave Chappelle's a real person. He really is.
Talking about being the GOAT and things of that nature, there's obviously some level of skill required. And as Eminem has progressed through his career, he's continued to hone the craft. But if you step back, we talked obviously about him being a white rapper. What's your take on how that affected his overall career?
Okay, so I'm gonna throw this down before you, Chris, real quick. There's this thing I call the Amy Lee thing, or the Evanescence thing, or the Gwen Stefani thing. Okay, so Street Fighter 2, all dudes, and Blanca monster, I guess, but then one woman, Chun-Li. You just say Chun-Li, you know who she is, stands out, right? You just see her. And the flip side of that too is, even if you didn't know who she was, if I was talking about Street Fighter and said, oh, her doing the kick or the fireball, you would know because there's only one woman. Again, Gwen Stefani. I remember, no doubt, they had their drama, right? Someone, I forgot who it was, but one of the men was like, oh, this is bullcrap, man. How come you guys focus on her? How come you don't focus on me? And I'm like, dude, if there's ever a group of like 7 dudes and 1 woman, the woman will always stand out. That's just how it works. Same thing with Evanescence. The one woman stands out. I mean, also she has the mic. That's how that works too. And this is me, you know, I try to be race blind, but it's impossible to be completely race blind, I believe, to a degree. If every single person in this room is not white and one person is white, they'll definitely stand out. Having said that, that's not to take away from Eminem's skill. He's a skilled man, very skilled. But I believe that was part of it, and I think it helped him, actually. I'm sure he got a lot of shit too, but I believe it helped him.
Hot take from the Twitch chat via Minnie Malin. Think that being the best means that people believe that they will get the best result.
Ooh.
But that's not the same as actually being the best. All individuals have different approaches on things, and they don't necessarily have the same advantage or as others or the same support. So that I think that applies to, in this case, right, to what Kush is saying, in that during that time in the 90s, even though we want to say that, you know, we've gotten through that time in America where there was like segregation and things like that, it wasn't still 100% true. I mean, to this day, there's still, you know, stuff like that going on in some respects. So I feel like having that, we'll say, stereotypical oppression had to have affected him in his career. Mm-hmm. There's no way that he would have that kind of drive otherwise. I mean, you saw in the movie 8 Mile, well, unless you're Alvin, that
everyone but Alvin, correct.
That there was a stereotype against but the bunny rabbit character.
Oh,
right. That
right.
he was in these rap battles.
Eminem.
That's Eminem, mind you.
Right. But see, like even in that sense, he was not. I don't know, something. Oh, okay, he wasn't like the great white whale from Moby Dick. He was rabbit. You know, not a compliment, I'm sure, but he made it work, which is cool. But yeah, like, there you go, right? They tried to crap on him for it. But either way, the Gwen Stefani effect or the Evanescence Amy Lee, it applies. The one person who is not like the others stands out. That's just how it works, unfortunately.
Klingon Spartan in the Twitch chat chiming in with, so are we calling Eminem the black sheep?
Ooh, fascinating phrasing, right? Interesting.
I think ironically,
yeah,
that could very well apply.
It could.
Solid phrasing. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
When I think, you know, you talk about a white guy, you talk about hip hop, and like now, definitely a lot more accepted. Anybody can be a rapper. My 2-year-old can be a rapper almost at this point. Now you don't even have to say anything, and you can be a rapper.
That's true.
But definitely, Eminem paved kind of the way for essentially, I guess, like white rappers to start coming up and doing things. And I mean, there's legitimately like actually really good white rappers, like. For me personally, being from the Northwest originally, I think of Macklemore.
Nice.
So,
nice.
I'm sure plenty of you have heard that name before.
Yep.
And then obviously Logic is biracial, although he looks white. So there's a lot of different things that go along with that.
Sure.
But I remember a line that Eminem said, and I'm not entirely sure what song it was, but he said something about focused on that I'm white, ignoring skill, I stick out like a green cap with an orange bill. And I just bring that up for 2 reasons. First of all, everyone, it seems like at least, was before he got signed to Dr. Dre, it was like, you know, yeah, this dude is cool, but he's white, so like, nah, I'm gonna pass. And then the second part I bring up is if you watch Eminem or interviews of Eminem, he talks about rhyming words. And in that rhyme, he uses the word orange.
Oh, interesting.
So the word that is said to be impossible to rhyme with anything, he's done multiple times.
Nice.
So ignoring skill, orange bill. And then also back to the song Brain Damage. Maybe that's probably one of the reasons that I really like that song. He actually does like a 4-bar rhyme scheme where he talks about, or the rhyming words are storage booth, 4-inch screws, foreign tools, orange juice.
Nice.
So kind of talking about being the GOAT now, you take something that's supposedly not rhymable and somehow make it fit.
Yeah.
You know what's really cool? Actually, not to fanboy out too much, but you know what? I really like Eminem as opposed to other rappers. And Klingon Sparta in the chat kind of mentioned it a little bit here. He enunciates very well.
Oh, interesting.
Like, when he's rapping, I can actually understand what he's saying.
Huh.
for the most part, right?
That's
like,
a good point. Yeah.
dudes that just like I'm not into that, dude. Like that's just me personally. Like if you like that, more power to you. Just if it's a song, I'd like to actually understand the words that you're saying.
Right.
But hey,
I never thought of it that way. And yeah, I agree. I mean, that's how that works. Like, I can actually rap along to what he's saying, which is not true for a lot of other songs. Like, I can't say what they're saying. So that's pretty cool. Yeah.
So, kind of as I look at Eminem's career and he's progressed throughout it, right? He came onto the scene for the majority of people with our generation, the Slim Shady LP.
Nice.
Some people, it may have been 8 Mile and things of that. So kind of in my mid-early career. But I feel like he started out very controversial and then he kind of maintained that here and there throughout all of his albums. Definitely the Marshall Mathers LP, as we talked about. Eminem Show, there was even some controversial stuff on there. Encore came out, had some anti-Bush things on there. And then kind of Relapse and Recovery were a little bit, I'll say, less controversial. What do you guys think of that? Is that, he's felt like he's established himself, so he doesn't really, need to make that controversy the shock and awe at that point and want to focus more on his skill? Or do you guys have any thoughts on kind of the progression?
I think that, and we kind of touched on this in this past week's episode, I think that once you make your splash, right? And we knew back in the early, 90s, early 2000s, Eminem's splash was the shade tracks, right? Once you do that as an artist, you're going to want to continue to create and expand yourself and be different. So I don't think that it was a matter of him kind of like dialing it back because he needed to dial it back. I think it was more of just expanding himself at that point. Like you don't want to do the same thing over and over and over again.
One of my favorite games or series of all times is Mega Man. I love Mega Man. On that note, I also love Jack Johnson. Now, the reason why I mentioned Mega Man is people will say like Mega Man 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 9 or whatever. It's like, oh, it's so lame. It's the same damn thing. People just shit all over it. Having said that, I love what Mega Man is. I hope future Mega Man games play like the Mega Man I know. And for me, that's a positive. So some artists, and I've lost it. You know what? Okay, there's no reason to crap on people. There's a group where I liked what they used to do. It was the same thing over and over. It was sunny and it was fun. And then they're like, no, we're darker than this. So they changed what they were doing. And all I could think was, yeah, but I liked what you guys were doing before. This is not what I like. And then subsequently, they were not as popular anymore. I have not heard recent Eminem stuff. I assume there's still some rage. I assume there's still some controversy in there. And I'm like, you know what? That's what I like from him. That's cool. I go to a pizza place. I want a pizza. That's how it works for me. So
from the Twitch chat, Eminem always searching for controversial topics and he thrives on it. Also, kind of true. We got you.
Fair point.
And we got some love for B.O.B.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
B.O.B. is a good
B.O.B. is
artist.
awesome.
Stuff. Yeah.
Airplanes.
Yes.
Definitely.
Oh my
Oh yeah.
God. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I look at old Eminem and it definitely, like, when the new song came out, it was almost like you expected him to go at somebody.
Yes.
Yeah.
To say something about somebody.
Yes.
And then most recently, well, before Kamikaze, he had Revival. I would say in terms of Eminem, everyone considers it a flop, right? Like, I don't know what numbers were for it, but it didn't do too well for an Eminem project. And interestingly enough, he comes out with a single called Walk on Water, where there's nothing for the controversial fan lover to get behind and be like, oh yeah, he's got that fire again. It's a very stripped down song with minimal instrumental, and it's, Beyonce singing on it, which is cool, but not the typical lead single that we see from him.
I get what you're saying with Revival, but wouldn't you say that Kamikaze is a return to form, right?
Oh, yes. I mean,
so, once you establish your creativity, you start to stretch yourself in other directions. And at some point, like many others have, right, you realize, hey, maybe I'll just go back to this. That was fun back then. And, we'll revive it and we'll bring that back. I think it works.
No, he definitely came back with a fuel to the flame that some will say it doesn't seem like he's had it for a while, but you talk about Rap God, and I don't know what better 7 minutes of rapping that you can listen to beyond that song.
All right, Kush, I'll ask you this. So, I don't know Whitesnake or Poison that well, but I've heard of them. And to my recollection, one, they're...
What makes you think I know who they are?
Hold on, I'm getting there. Hold on, I'm not going quite there either. But I do know, for the most part, they were pretty, I'll say metal-y, rock, whatever. They were not the ballad groups. Having said that, to my knowledge, they both did have ballads. So it was that thing where it was like, oh, new Whitesnake, hell yeah, man, can't wait for the super heavy stuff. And then surprise, it's a ballad, and the ballad is huge, and people love it. If a new Eminem song came out now, I'd be like, all right, let's get the rage on. And it would be trippy if it was Rainbows and Sunshine. And I would trip over that. And I don't know. I think I'd like it. Who knows?
Spotted in the Twitch chat saying, "Is that are we kind of getting into where the old Roman proverb, great men have the furthest to fall?" I mean, in such a way,
nice,
kind of,
nice,
right?
Interesting. I can see that.
Once you kind of build yourself up, and you kind of build, I don't want to say empire, but you build your reputation, there's some risk that if you continue going away from your original path, that you could fall far because you built your original so high. Which is maybe why some guys like Eminem, they come back to it. Maybe.
I think he placed that expectation bar above really anybody, even himself potentially could really top, right? Like he came out and it was just stacking one on top of the next, right? As soon as album after album stacking on top of each other, at what point can you not reach that same status anymore? And I mean, some people say Revival is the old Eminem reincarnated and now he's back and things like that. There's interviews with Eminem when he talked to Sway talking about the ironic thing is that he'd had to make his old album so that he could make Kamikaze. So it's ironic how they play off of each other. And maybe because Revival came out and it quote unquote set the bar lower, now Kamikaze had that ceiling space kind of to go on top of it and then, make a bigger impact. Speaking of controversy and the man that he is, we also, I don't know if you guys caught his BET cipher where he talked about drawing a line in the sand and his whole rant on Donald Trump. You guys?
See, I didn't catch a cipher. But isn't that the one that comedian guy made like a spoof on it?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
That sounds familiar. Yeah. That's right. It was black and white. They're in like a garage, right? Was that the one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Garage.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
I mean, maybe that was really the shock and awe splash that he was attempting to make, and unfortunately it seems like there are some negative impacts on that for the album.
Well, I mean, but in the same way, like we're saying, even bad press is still press, right? Like it's already a known thing that the skill is there, the quality is going to be there. So you throw a little like splash of shade around, like you do a little controversial like cipher that someone else then parodies, that then you then retweet, which was actually made a lot of like, it was huge. So he does this controversial thing. A comedian makes a spoof of his controversial thing. This is a Chris Delia. Am I saying that right? I don't know. Anyway, puts it on YouTube. Eminem finds the video on YouTube, said, "Oh my God, it's like you're me," and then retweets that back. So it's like viral upon viral upon viral. It's crazy.
So if you guys could see Eminem, he's collaborated with a plethora of different artists at this point. If there's one person, dead or alive, we'll say, even, is there someone who you'd want to see in Eminem and or so-and-so featuring? So
I mentioned before, there's people I 10 Pete. You know what? Why not? So I enjoyed Eminem and I think it was Rihanna. Monster Under My Bed. Was that right? Rihanna?
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
So same style. I enjoy Eminem's raps. I enjoy people who sing, not rapping. So Eminem, Ariana Grande. Boom, there. Totally random. I think it could be fun.
That is an interesting...
Yes. Well, because my initial gut was 2 rappers. I'm like, no, let's change it. Let's go not 2 rappers. I was just thinking about it.
Well, I mean, Eminem's made a career with pop singers.
Yes. Oh, Dido? I love that one. That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, Stan was definitely something that even pushed Eminem's name and franchise more in front of pop culture, I think.
Yes.
You know, it's really funny. You know, the first thing I thought of was this is so trolling your question.
Okay.
But you know what'd be really cool is if Eminem was in a Lonely Island song.
Oh, that would be fun. I like those guys.
Like, you know, you splash him in, you know, like how they did the T-Pain one, and then
Yeah.
Justin Timberlake, Dick in a Box, you know, that kind of thing. Like, imagine an Eminem with Andy Sandberg and doing a Lonely Island mix. That would be, I think you could do some pretty interesting things with that. It might not fit what he's trying to go after, but I think it'd be pretty cool.
I very much feel like Eminem, the person, or Marshall Mathers, maybe we'll refer to him, would definitely be interested in doing something like that.
Okay, I'll throw this out there for fun. So, I think the first Lonely Island thing was Lazy Sunday.
Yes.
Oh, first of all, I love that. Okay. Anyway, second of all, they had a guy before. He would do the ambiguously gay duo. Do you remember that animated thing?
I remember Ambiguously Gay
Okay.
Duel on Saturday night.
There
Live,
was a guy who was in charge of it. I don't remember his name. So anyway, that guy, after Lazy Sunday came out, he went up to Andy Samberg and he's like, "Dude, man." And then Andy Samberg's like, "What's wrong?" He goes, "You have no idea what you just started." And then Andy Samberg said in the past, I guess like Lauren or someone came up to him, and the other people were like, "Okay, so first of all, that was great. Second of all, we need one every week now." And they're like, "Oh shit." So now they just keep pumping them. There's plenty. You know, there's a lot of good ones. And I love that stuff. I don't know if you guys saw the Michael Bolton one. Holy crap. So good.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Lonely Island Michael Bolton.
Yes.
Hilarious.
Awesome.
Yeah,
love
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So from the Twitch chat, Malin says, "Would love Eminem together with a metal band like System of a Down or Korn.
Nice. Okay.
Rap
nice.
could go very well with that type of music." I agree.
Yes.
That could be kind of cool. I'm surprised that no one's like FMV spliced that already. I bet it exists somewhere.
No, didn't Korn did the video where like Little John and Exhibit. I mean, it wasn't Twisted Transistor, I think was the song. There wasn't any rap lyrics, but there's like a close connection with Korn and some of the hip hop artists. So
Nice.
Oh yeah?
Okay.
kind of an interesting play. Ironically enough, I was actually gonna say Metallica
Oh, nice.
Interesting.
would have been something up there as interesting.
Malin cut you off.
Yeah.
Cut you at the pass right there, dude.
On a side note, though, going more towards pop stars, you said Ariana Grande.
Yes.
I was gonna throw out Justin Bieber.
Oh, okay. Yeah, totally. I can see that. That'd be cool.
I'm not sure exactly how that fit would be, but I also think that could be interesting.
That would be pretty cool, actually. Yeah.
For audio listeners, I'm cringing a little bit, but just saying.
What's wrong with the Biebs?
Ed
I like Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran's good too.
Oh, yeah, it's cool.
Sheeran would be an interesting one.
Yeah. So I thought about Justin Bieber because I always think about him, not because you just mentioned him. Anyway.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, I know, right? Okay, moving on.
Wait, what?
So Justin Bieber, right? To my knowledge, his background was, "Hi, you don't know me, but I'm gonna play stuff and put it on YouTube. So let's just have some fun with this." That is my recollection of his background. The reason why I mentioned that is, I wonder if Eminem was brand new right now, what that would be like. Rap battles aren't a thing so much now, you know, and I love that idea of Eminem destroying other MCs. That's just fun in my head. So like now, I don't know, like, would he be a Twitter man? In theory, it would fit, right? Say your opinion, controversial or otherwise, on Twitter. Would he be maybe like, 6 seconds? What was Vines? Would he have been on Vines? You know, I don't know. Yeah.
Like, so you're saying that if he was a kid right now?
Yeah,
coming up
like he's
and all
new.
that
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
Maybe, right? Like that type of like Buck Society personality type thing, maybe. I don't know.
I think it'd be interesting to see him in the rap battle scene now.
Oh, interesting.
Because I have the feeling that he would just destroy dudes.
Yes.
Probably.
Because it's all written and the memories there. I can only imagine the damage he would do.
Oh yeah.
That would be cool.
Sparta in the Twitch chat saying old school swing rap would be cool. Like jump, jive, and rap?
Oh, that would be cool.
Maybe.
Well, that's what I think of when I hear the word swing. But yeah, that would be cool.
Frank Sinatra and rap together.
Dude, what was that guy, Cheese? The guy, his name is Cheese. Like,
Cheese.
there's a guy, he redid Gin and Juice, but like old school style. His name was Cheese, something Cheese.
I haven't heard that one.
Look up.
Yeah, that was fun. He did a lot of covers and it was trippy. But yeah, Chris, if you can find it, I'm pretty sure you know who that was. He was big. And I feel like I haven't heard from him in a while. But okay, let's say you're at the airport and you want a drink and you're waiting for your plane. There's those guys, like lounge people. They're just playing. Imagine that guy doing gin and juice. That's what I'm referring to. His name was Cheese. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, was that the coffee shop one?
I'm not sure. It's pretty.
He's
dated.
like in a coffee shop playing it or something. I don't know.
Could be.
I saw like a YouTube with something like that. But I thought the direction you were going with that is, could you imagine being like in a jazz lounge and then Eminem start rapping?
Ridiculous.
I thought that's what you were gonna go with.
That would be cool too, though.
Not famous, right?
Oh,
like
I
he was
get
just
you.
some dude.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay, I will say this. So I was watching some stuff with Jin a long time ago, and Jin was just wandering around and he's talking to people in Chinese, and some old dude, they just cut to it. He's like at least 60. So anyway, Jin, I guess he tells him, I'm a rapper, I do this kind of stuff. And that guy starts freestyling on him. Just some random ass dude off the street. And I'm like, that was awesome. So I can't imagine that. And that'd be cool. Oh, I will say this. There was someone, I don't remember who it was, but someone huge. And that person said, I'm going to do some busking. Why not? So he's just chilling on the street playing, and he got like $2, which is ridiculous because this guy's like a millionaire and he makes, great music. But it's not as easy as you would, like, you would think it'd be a slam dunk for someone of that skill level, but it doesn't always work that way. So it's trippy. Richard Cheese. If you look up Richard Cheese.
I'm just looking it up now, yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, so I think anytime that there's a conversation about Eminem, the topic is does he rank in the top 5 in your opinion? Top 5 list of
rappers.
We'll say rappers.
Rappers?
Oh.
And if he doesn't, who would be in that top 5?
Oh man, interesting. Well,
now really putting it down.
All right, Chris, I'm gonna go first because I should on this because I don't know that many rappers. That's a hard call for me. Eminem is definitely up there though. There's some lyrics where I'm like, oh, that was witty, that was good. I like the way it rhymed. I like the way it flowed. So also, I forgot who said this. Probably Eminem. No, probably not Eminem. But someone was crapping on other rappers, and the commentary was made, "Are you really a rapper if you can't freestyle?" And I'm like, oh, that's throwing a gauntlet, man. And having said that, Eminem absolutely has that ability, so he elevates even higher in my mind. Definitely.
I'm gonna go ahead and say yes. My knowledge of rap music is not nearly as thorough as yours. So I'm gonna just go ahead and say yes because I can't think of 5 people that would knock him off.
Ooh, that's an interesting way of putting it too.
Like if we just randomly throw out 5, right? I can't think of 5 others.
Right.
That's a good point.
I definitely think he's in a top 5 for me. Where he ranks amongst that, I don't necessarily know. But when you look at lyrical ability, and I think what I find most entertaining is going back and listening to a song again and then picking out something new and then listening to a third time or the 20th time and always finding something new. So even this week when I was prepping to come talk to you guys, going back and listening to Slim Shady, listening to Marshall Mathers, like there was things in there that I may have caught once before, but it was things that I either had forgotten or like I was like, oh man, that was actually really cool. And like for instance, like all these orange rhymes that he came up with, like before I probably heard it and I was like, oh yeah, that's cool, whatever, and then didn't think anything of it. Now going back, I'm like, oh yeah, he's got the lyrical ability, and now things that I just thought one word was rhyming, now it's the whole sentence that is actually rhyming. I think the entertainment value within that is just puts him up there amongst the best.
From the Twitch chat, we got one list with Eminem number 1, Kanye number 2, Tupac number 3, Biggie number 4, Tech 9 number 5. That's a good list.
That's a good
I like
list.
the Tech 9 up there.
Yeah, that's a good list.
Yeah.
We've gone down the rabbit hole like forward, back, and sideways. But want to thank everyone for tuning in to this week's show, getting hype about Eminem with us. Me and Kush are hype, of course. We are T minus like 9 days to be in that crowd. If you like what you're hearing, you can follow us on on all the popular podcast services, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher. Check out that episode that we were referring to earlier where we go deep on our interview with Kush Nasty over here. Follow us on social media at House It Network, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you check it out, maybe you'll see some pictures from inside an Eminem concert. Just saying. Kush, where can everyone find you on the internet?
So you can find me on my brand page, Team Me Brand. You can also look me up, Kush Nasty, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff.
And just to plug Team Me Brand again, if you guys like what we're wearing right here, check it out, Team Me Brand. Hit us up.
Hey, if there's any artists out there listening, you make music, you even draw, do whatever, hit me up. We can link, figure something out.
And if you like that Alvin goodness, please visit alohalvin.com. I have a recent collection of articles. It's called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Writers. It's good stuff. Please check it out. I write like how I speak, so if you enjoyed me today, I'm sure you enjoy the site.
And if you want to find more of me, I'm How's It Chris on Twitter. As we said last week, dank memes and shit, you know. We want to thank you again for lending us your beautiful ears. And just remember, it is not goodbye. We shall see you later.